So for those of you who might not know yet, the EOS R is Canon's latest announcement, and it's also their entry into the full-frame mirrorless game. So it's Canon's first ever full-frame mirrorless camera, and today I'm going to share my thoughts on what I think are the pros and cons of this camera. So let's start with the good stuff. The EOS R's first strength is probably its autofocus system. It's got a really strong AF system and is using Canon's dual pixel autofocus technology, which has been working wonders ever since it was introduced all the way back in the 70D. And get this, it has 5,655 individually selectable AF points. There was a time when I thought the 7D was insane for having 19 AF points. Next up is the EOS R's ability to output a 10-bit 422 video signal. Now the camera is not able to record all that internally, so you will have to record the signal using an external recorder, but it's still very nice to know that the camera is able to output such a decent codec. Now it's probably no big deal to the average consumer, but the prosumers would definitely appreciate having the option. And the third one is another video feature, and that is the EOS R comes pre-installed with C-Log, unlike the early versions of the 5D Mark IV, whereby you had to pay to have your camera upgraded with C-Log. And plus, having C-Log on the camera alone is already a godsend for filmmakers. And number 4, the EOS R comes with a brand new RF mount, which in my opinion is a great thing because it opens up a lot of new possibilities. With that, Canon's been able to engineer new lenses for the mount, such as the 28-70 f2 zoom lens, which sounds downright amazing, minus the price tag. And they've also been able to introduce new accessories for the system, such as the adapter that supports drop-in filters, and also the adapter that adds an extra control ring. And coming up at number 5, the EOS R takes the LP-E6 and E6N batteries. So these are the batteries used in the 60Ds all the way up to the 5Ds. So if you're buying the EOS R as an additional camera to your kit, more likely than not, you already have a bunch of LP-E6s laying around and you can just use those batteries with your EOS R, which saves you the trouble and expense of having to invest in a whole new collection of batteries. So those were some lovely things in my opinion about the EOS R, so now let's move on to the not so lovely things. Now my first complaint is its single SD card slot. Now it's not a straight up deal breaker for me, but for a camera that's apparently aimed at prosumers and it does cost quite a bit, you would expect it to come with a dual card slot. And speaking of the price, it's probably one of the main factors holding people back from buying this camera. At $2,300, it's pretty expensive. And my next issue with the camera is a huge bummer for Manny, and that is, although the camera shoots 4K, it records it at a crop factor of roughly 1.7 times. Now this has happened before with the 5D Mark IV, that rhymed, but it's very unfortunate that it's back to haunt us here on the EOS R. Now in my opinion, I think Canon is capable of allowing it to record full-frame 4K, but they're imposing the 4K recording crop intentionally to protect their Cinema EOS line of cameras. So for example, the Canon C100 priced at over $3,000 records a maximum resolution of 1080p. Now imagine a mirrorless camera costing more than $1,000 less than the C100 being able to record 10-bit 422 uncropped 4K video with C-Log. That's gonna make the C100 look a bit like a joke. Now when I think about it, I think it makes perfect commercial sense for Canon to impose the crop, but it still doesn't make it any less of a dick move. And finally, the lack of an in-body image stabilization system on the EOS R. So that's basically shifting the sensor to compensate for camera shake. Now the thing about not having an in-body IS is most of the other mirrorless cameras in the same range have it. Sony's mirrorless cameras have it, Nikon's new mirrorless cameras also have it. So when you consider your other options, the EOS R has one less very useful feature to offer. So those have been my thoughts on what I think are the pros and cons of the EOS R. Let me know in the comments below as well what your thoughts are on the EOS R. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.